Great, so that's just us now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on the stream. We don't intend this one to be as big as what we're usually used to with the GT3, as we're not on the main channel at the minute due to some technical difficulties, if you will. Well, not if you will, that's it. There's a technical difficulties not being able to get on the channel at the minute, so forced into using my personal one, which we will get uploading onto the channel. It's fairly straightforward, is uploading it onto there, but as you can see before me, we have the United Arab Emirates Abu Dhabi GP, and then tonight's going to be an absolute firecracker. We're going to get into qualifying. We standard setup for the GT3 season is a 15-minute session. Obviously, top of the times we'll get pole here, and it pays to be at the front. I think. Obviously, we're running performance impacting damage. Performance impacting damage. We'll just get a few little bits and bats up. So yeah, apologies for tonight, guys. We'll see if anyone's coming out. There we go. So again, welcome very much to what is round 4 of the Motive Racing GT3 Super Saturday. So we are on board with Vert and Sylvester in the ever popular AMG Mercedes, putting some heat into them. So yeah, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Super Saturday, and that means only one thing. Yes, the GT3 beasts are back, all on track, and after a busy week of testing, we are here in Motor City, Dubai for round 4 of the Motive Racing Super GT Saturday Championship. We have come to the jewel in the desert to see what the drivers and teams come out with, if they come out with gold. 2 races this evening for you, ladies and gentlemen. First up is our sprint, a 15-minute dash to the line, and no pit stop required. Then the big one, our feature race of the night. It'll be double the laps of the sprint race, and also with a reverse grid, so all the fast guys will be towards the back of the grid, will be at the back of the grid, so plenty of overtaking. Also with the Super Blue Ribbon event, we also expect a mandatory pit stop, no tyre change necessary, but you know, just to spice things up a little bit, we've been checking on the weather forecast at the United Emirates, and there's some weather en route apparently. The locals are telling us that the forecast is rain expected. Not sure how that's going to shape things up. That is in the feature race that will follow our sprint race. It will be first up after qualifying. So yeah, we've got some weather en route for you. It's cloud seeding at its best over in Abu Dhabi and Motor City. Of course, this track fairly new. Over 100 million put into this complex autodrome here. 3.3 miles long, FIA approved. First built in 2004, so relatively new for the tracks that we've visited so far here in GT3 this season. And the facilities here are at the top notch. They've got an FIA approved track with the FIA approved go-karting track. There's all sorts. You can come here for track days. Plenty of racing going on here throughout the year. Now, here at GT3, we will try and do something positive and spread some light on some goodness in the world, because we're all going through a bit of a tough one at the minute. So for this week, a GT3 would like to put the spotlight on the amazing work the MS Society is doing, and would like to aim to a minute of your time to try and get you involved. And there are many ways to get involved, from small cash donations via their website www.mssociety.org.uk. My apologies there, ladies and gentlemen. Very quick and simple process for wanting the cash donation, but there are also fundraising purses. Every challenge, every step taken, every cake sold, every penny earned takes us a step closer to stopping MS. From volunteering and lending a hand or joining the MS research networks, there are lots of ways to offer your time to help stop MS. Help Motive Racing and campaign with us for the great cause that is the MS Society. And of course that website again is www.mssociety.org.uk. Now, back to what's all on track at the minute. No time set, as we're looking at Mr. Forsten Schmidt, our Belgian race driver in the heart of Germany. He's had a tough outing, you would say. He's had the pace as he gets very sideways there. We're on board with his teammate. The Porsche Sport Sim Racing team are currently P2 in the Team Constructors Championships. Forsten himself is P2 in the drivers, so there's really not a lot between them all. I have got a lot of notes and we'll get into that tonight, but the boys are basically separated by a couple of points here and there in the championship. Now, extra incentive for the lads mid-pack and towards the back. The bottom 6 drivers will be eliminated from the elite tier. So we will have the boys really fighting tooth and nail to get up into the top 10 spots come the end of the season. So, you know, there's not just a motive and incentive for the lads at the front to win the gold and trophies and whatnot. The lads that want to stick it out and are keen on it will be fighting tooth and nail to actually get into those spots. We've got trackside as we're on board, or just coming around the last corner now as Mr. Olimar, the French driver, sets up to his lap to go, and he looks like he's closely collared by Ayrton Sebastian, I think. Nope, that has to be Sebastian, which we'd have a great on board. Let's have a quick on board here. This is going to be an easy lap by Seb. Currently 6 tenths down on Ayrton. His teammate, the Sebastiano race team, represented very well, very quick in the Mercs as Seb gets very sideways there. Looks like both cars at the minute just trying to warm those tyres up, put a bit of heat into them. Same said throughout the field there. Mr. Delavan himself, currently sitting P1 in the Drivers' Championship and first in the Team Championship. The POG Champion boys going very well, 195 points to the POG Champs. He took gold last time out in the Bruno GP feature, so Delavan on form coming into the sprint after the highs of Bruno and performing there. What can Italian driver David do? Currently sitting P3, 2.5 tenths off the Mercedes. They seem to be going very well. And this is Diacross, our Puerto Rican driver, and I want to express some apologies to Diacross right now. I've been saying his name wrong for, I've been also pronouncing where he is, lives very much wrong for the majority of the season, so I'm going to hold my hands up here now. The Puerto Rican driver has very much impressed throughout the season for his young age and the mentality and head on his shoulders. He's a great racer. It's good to see him in the mix, and also going pretty strong at the minute, you have to say. 2.5 seconds off. You know, but other than the Sylvester race team there, P1 and 2, everyone's around that 2-second gap. So it seems pretty close back. Tim Oskar, our German driver, promoted from the junior categories, i.e. Tier 2. So it's fantastic to watch the tiers actually work, and this is a living example of it. Tim recently promoted from, I think it was Donington onwards, and has impressed a lot. He's been a bit unlucky in some of the races, picking up damage, hampering his lap times throughout, but has picked up good solid points, and it's an absolute pleasure to have our German driver on board with us in the desert. Currently sitting on a 157.9, can he improve? We'll have to see. Ollie into the pit. Back with Evan now, our Irish driver from Tiffany. Evan, of course, is sitting in P9 in the championship, so only just in the safety spots. Of course, again, P10 championship. They will then go to be safe. Anyone P11 onwards will be relegated, so, you know, they're going to fight tooth and nail over it. But Evan, of course, 9th in the Drivers' Championship, had a bad Bruno GP, had a poor Juno GP actually, and is looking to add points to the Broad Sport Sim Racing team. Hopefully he can add a few on tonight. Currently sitting P7, not a bad time for the Lamborghini driver. Good to see him out. Mr. Ozzy Styles, another guy that's floating around that safety position at the minute, currently sat in P12. He is indeed. He's 9 points off safety, so 9 points off 10 position. So he's in P12, so P11, you know, it's so close between them all. There's literally points between them. In fact, P11 is Chris, who's out on track at the minute, has been murdering Chris's name as well throughout the season, as he's just about to take that Bentley out for a spin to Diacross in the background there. Bit of news from the Bentley race team from Donington onwards. They've been trying out different chassis, different fuel mix and modes. That's great to see the boys really putting in the time there, but yeah, they've been having a bit of a tough time of it, I must say, in the Bentley crew. Team Thunder is really happy now the test went. Chris is showing good pace for the sprint and in the feature. We've also brought updates to Ubar's car. The Flying Dutchman currently sat in P13. Them updates not quite working yet, but to be fair, he hasn't actually set a time, so we'll see how them updates to Ubar's car's working. The Flying Dutchman from Dreed. There's always lots of work to do with the new car parts, and we'll be competitive in Dubai. Still, our goal is to bring both cars home and aiming for the top 6 spots. At this point in the championship, we also need to focus and stay in the top 10 overall. So Chris, yeah, understanding the importance of being in those top 10 spots come the end of the season. Let's have a little on board with Uber at the minute, see what he's up to. Looks like he's about to come up around the latter half of the lap, maybe putting a time in. 6 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. He is in sector 3 at the minute, is Uber. Bit of news from the Broad Sport Sim Racing team is looking forward to the Dubai GP. There'll be one of a few that is. The practice tells us we can fight for the victory. This is Thorsten Smith and Evan, both of the Lamborghini drivers. They're hoping to fight for the win, the victory. Hope Thorsten can go at his pace in the race. Evan is struggling a bit with the Lamborghini, but his pace is looking good So that's encouraging, and you know what is written and said, it really translates. Currently, where is Forster Smith at the minute? It's a difficult one to point out. He's P11 with no time set, and his teammate P7 at the minute. So, you know, there or thereabouts. But Forster definitely looking to get towards the sharp end of the grid, P3, P2, something like that, because he needs to get in the mix there and start chipping away at the Stefan Severino race team. Uber across the line, 2-minute flat, P10. Good effort. Coming around again, plenty of time to set another lap. Back up on board. That is a Ferrari. Shell. Missed a couple of rounds as our Dutch driver, 14th in the championship, did miss the last round Brunner GP, so a little bit rusty. This is him coming back into the GT3 picture. He's got behind the wheel of that 488 again, and he's just trying to get reacquainted with her, just trying to fettle and play around with it, see what sort of speed he can get out. But at the minute, sat just outside of the top 10 position. Big gap of 6 seconds off at the minute. Forcing still to set the time, and he's still in the pit. Kurt, where is Kurt on the lap? He's definitely going for it. We're about to have a quick on-board of Kurt. He's just coming around the first section of the track. So P14 at the minute, no lap time set, along with Andy and Thorsten. We expect all three of them, really, to be towards the front. So at the minute, and Stefano is leading the way. Beautiful sounding there, V8 there, coming flying through. So Ed Sevasto, our Argentinian driver, currently third in the Drivers' Championship, 14 points behind Forster Smith. First and second in Bruno, so he's coming off a hell of a result last round, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you all, if you've not actually caught up with any of the GT3 racing, to watch the previous rounds. The action has been absolutely non-stop from start to finish. It doesn't matter where these boys are out on track, there is fighting, overtaking, and it's clean as well, and that's what we like to see. But I strongly encourage you to go check that out. And currently a 155, pretty much flat. Also, I know this is on the Twitch channel, but please go visit the Motive Racing Discord channel and the YouTube channel. Hit like and subscribe and that follow button. Every little like and every thumbs up supports the GT3 lads out here tonight at Motive Racing. And we're doing it for a good cause, the MS Society. So by leaving us a thumbs up and a like on the stream, you're not only supporting the MS Society, but all the GT3 drivers out and checking. It looks like I've got very sideways there, but Ollie as well, he's coming up on the marking signs at the minute, lap trap invalid, so he's having a bit of a tough one there as our French driver in the pit, and in the pit too. 3 minutes to go, he looks like he's happy with that, and why not? He's a full 1.8, we've lost a driver somewhere through that. Sure who that was, the 3 minutes, there is time for the guy to get back in as Forster comes around, P11 in a minute, no lap time set. Across the line, he goes straight into third with a 156. He is a second, 0.3 off P1 out and so fast, but that's a good position to be in for the Lamborghini driver. His teammate pushed down from P7 to P8 now, but Forster in a good spot. Andy still to set a time. I don't think he's going to get out to do one. Where is Kurt? So Kurt must be seeing Diacross and Forster in front. Yeah, just about to see Forster up ahead. Fantastic shot. These boys going through this section of the track. Kurt really needs to set a lap time, and that's not going to be the one, unfortunately. Shell, our Dutch driver again, coming across the line, still outside of a top 10 position, but I do have faith that he can improve as Chris exits the pits. Maybe trying to sort some fuel loads out. Diacross into the pit now, that'll be him. So currently, Ernst fast, 155 flat. Sebastefano, 155.7, big gap, 7 tenths for all intents and purposes. Ayrton has a big healthy gap over his, the field at the minute, so from the timings and selections, ladies and gentlemen, we're expecting Ayrton to fast. Hopefully, if it goes the right way, he'll be able to get Seb to sort of back him up a little bit. His teammate there, and Ayrton hopefully should be able to pull a gap, I imagine, and he'll be difficult to beat. Forster really needs to try and get himself up in the mix along with Dalavan and Diacross early game, because if the later they leave it, the longer that AMG is going to pounce. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone board with Chris up this 1,200 metre stretch of road here. This is where the Bentley's really going to stretch its legs, along with the AMG, so you really need to be on it first sector to get in within the AMG. Heavy braking zone now. See what sort of line Chris takes. It's out on an out lap. It does look like Bentley sounding absolutely fantastic. Where is Delavan at the minute? That 488 at full chat, just coming around the same section, about to come onto the straight. Currently, we're 1.8 off the pace. Let's see what his times are like. Currently 2 tenths off his best, so no improvement. Diacross just coming back at the back end of that. Is that Andy in the background? Is it Andy? It is Andy. He's got a minute to get to the line. I reckon he'll be able to do it. So Usa Style has managed to join us, thank God. And it's good to see, and he's left the session again, so we're having a bit of technical difficulties here, but thank you everybody on the Twitch channel for joining us. A little bit irregular tonight as we meant to be on the YouTube channel, however YouTube is not letting us log in. It's been a bit of a pain in the ass, and Kurt resets and goes again. Currently P12 for our British driver there. He wants to do better, he can do better. Ollie into the pit, Tim into the pit. They think they've done enough. Forsen is into the pit, must be happy with the outright set, it says. And to be fair, he's got her over like 4 or 5 tenths on the car behind, which is Delavan. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone could jump that far up. So Forsen feels safe at the minute. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Really, Delavan, Diacross are the guys that are going to be challenging for that. Andy hasn't set a lap yet, Kurt neither. Ubat still out on track. Still needs to find 3 tenths to get in that top 10 position. But in a minute, does look like Delavan's just about to get a lap in. Nope, into the pit. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen, for all the bacon, for all the marbles now. This is it. No more reset buttons. Whereabouts is Chris on track? Apologies for that, but he's coming up to the latter sector. We have got cars coming into there. Can I just jump aboard, find who that is? It is Evans. So Evans will be our first car to come round the last corner now. P8, 159 to beat. He was about 2 tenths down on his best, to be fair, so I don't think we're going to see an improvement. Across the line from the Irish driver in Tiffany. It was an improvement, however this is a bit too far off. Who is next on track for us there? And does he improve? Not with a back end spinning around like that. Where is Kurt? Is it Chris? There is somebody around that section. Sorry, guys. It must be Sebastian. No, it's not, and I have no idea who it is. It's Kurt. Sorry, guys. There we go. Kurt, back on track now. Currently outside of a top 10 position by some way as well, so you would have thought he's not actually managed to get a representative lap time of British driver. Around the last corner now. Over the line. P10. 201. Still on a 2017. Not getting the time in there. Andy now for all the marbles. There is a car out in front. Looks like it's Diacross, so jump on board with Diacross now, get trackside now. We'll see him come across the line along with Andy, but at the minute it's looking very much like a Mercedes lockout 1-2 at the front of a round 4 sprint race. Of course, we get the sprint race underway, ladies and gentlemen. Once it's done, we have our blue ribbon event, our feature race. It'll be double the distance of this 15-minute race, so please stick with us once we get this sprint race sorted. We have another race upcoming. We'll allow the drivers to get the drinks refilled. Diacross using all the track there. It's our Puerto Rican driver. Coming round, turn 60, last bend. He is currently on a 157.4 P5. Does he improve? No improvement. Is that Andy just in the background coming across the line? Does he set a time? He does. He jumps into P8. Good to see the left-handed man actually getting a result in the air there. Andy looked like he was struggling just to get a lap in, to be fair. But P8 pushes Ollie out, his teammate, out of the top 10 positions. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen. And Sebastian doing very wise there, checking out where the pit entrance is, letting him know where he has to brake. He's going to pick up a second or two knowing that information there, so very wise from the Argentinian driver. And there we have it. The qualifying results are done. That is it for tonight. Reverse grid for the feature race, so that means no more qualifying. And it's Ayrton Stefano that's going to pick up the extra point for the fastest lap and pole position. We are about to get going here at Motive Racing, but before we do, please check out the link in the Discord. Please come and join us. Everything's absolutely 100% free. We have some exciting news on the Accesso Corsa Competizione coming to console as of next month, and we are taking up memberships and new drivers. All we ask is if you're clean and interested in joining the Motive Racing ACC League, please come and click the link. We'll get you up and signed up. With that said, let's get the boys into this sprint session. Okay, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Needs must, as lead car. You don't really get too much time to run to the toilet and back, so you've got to use your time wisely. And that was it. So, again, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is Super Saturday, and that can mean only one thing. The GT3 beasts, they're out on track, they're ready to go, setting up now. Ed Stefano and Sebastian Stefano in the duel in the desert. Come and see what the drivers and team have got. Who will come out with gold? 2 races this evening. First up, our sprint, which you see before you, and a reverse grid feature afterwards. Big thank you to Taylor Logistics for sponsoring the season. We're about to go lights out here. This is it. Round 4, race 1 of the night. Ed and Safar race team have locked out the front row with Delavan, the prancing horse, and the raging bull that is Forston in the lime green Lambo behind. We're about to get going here for Motive Racing. Round 4, GT3, Super Saturday, Dubai Autodrome GP. Who's going to come out on top? We are lights out. Here we go, and it looks like a great start from Forston. He's going to pull out there. Will the Merc have to go defensive? Losing a few drivers. Having a look a bit further back here. Fantastic shot. Just make sure the boys are all behaving themselves. Coming into turn 1. We don't want damage coming in. On board with Chris now. A little further back. Behaving themselves. Great line by Kurt through there. Just keeping himself busy. Ollie really in a sandwich now. Forston's round. Forston Smith is round. Wow. The championship contender, Forston Smith. Sebastian Stefano is round of 2. This is unbelievable. The championship leader and second place are round in the first corner. Back up with the action. And Stefano probably cannot believe his luck. What a gap he's pulled out. Delavan right behind him. Evan from P7 has managed to come up into P3. I don't know how the Irish driver from Tiffany has done it. And reports through testing is he's not feeling comfortable with the car. So, I don't know where that's come from. Evan now P3, Dicross sits behind and he's being chased by a pack. We'll go on board now with Ollie, the left-handed man, trying to chase Kurt down the 1.2 metre straight here. Kurt with a flash of the headlights, not happy about something. Tim's weaving around in the draft there. Can obviously weave around once to cut the draft. Ooh, and look at that, Dicross on the inside. Tim caught out a little bit. Tim needs to watch the draft, and it looks like Kurt is side by side. Ollie's had to concede the position. A little further up, great shot of the boys coming through what is turn 11 and 12. Fantastic. Evan with a train behind him at the minute. It looks like Tim's gone tried for the undercut and he's got it. Trackside now as the boys are side by side. Fantastic. I wonder what shot they've got of these boys coming down here. They're going to be side by side into this. What's got to give? Dicross, the Puerto Rican driver, versus Tim, the German driver, the Tier 2 prospect, the hot shot that's come on up. Little sideways coming around that corner, and Kurt is also very much on the side of Ollie. They're both giving each other the room to race. That's fantastic to see coming into the last corner now. Who's going to give? The Lambo renowned for being strong around the corners. The Audi though with the turbo. So here we go. It's anybody's race as Kurt now is on the back end of Vollimar now, the French driver, and it's all to play for. Coming across the start finish, 1 lap down. Big talking point in the race is, where the bloody hell is Forston? What has happened to Sebas? Something went wrong at the first corner. Sideways, back of the pack. Although Chris and Uber, the team funded down under drivers, the Bentley drivers are not having it their own way. That chassis not working. A little further back, let's have a look at them. Looks like a bit of damage on the front of Chris as well as Sebastian makes his way through. It looks like Forston's now found his way onto the back of Emschalt. Emschalt takes the line. This would be a brave position. It'd have to be a very much compliant Emschalt, and it looked like he got a bit of a flash of a lights there. Forston through into P8. Tim now on the arse end of that 911, trying to keep Dicross, the Peruvian driver, into his aims. Sorry, the Puerto Rican driver. I will get it right, my friend. Trackside now as they blast up the short straight. The prancing horse is chasing down the 911 in front. It's German engineering about wacky Italian design. Let's have it. Down the straight, let's have a look. A little further off, Kurt's lost a bit of ground there. He must have had something gone wrong with the exit off turn 9. Back up at the front, and Savas has managed to pull a 3-second gap. And Savas currently P3 in the championships. Currently, he's at 14 points behind Forston. So Forston needs to try and pick up as many places as he can. But it looks like the boys are all going to be shuffled about. And look who's in second. Our Italian driver, David. He has done this all season. He's put himself in or thereabouts. And while people have made mistakes, he has constantly picked up the pieces. As Dicross now is being absolutely stalked by Tim behind. Watching the Ferrari through the complex here of turn 14 into turn 15. Looks a little stronger, I have to say, than the 911, but Puerto Rican driver doing a top job, and Evan just in front holding P3. So we have a big fight on for the last podium spot to is P3, and it looks like Ollie's on the back end of that too. Not as close though. Stick on board with Tim, coming down the start, finish straight. Exit of turn 16 into turn 1 here. We'd love to know what happened to Forston and what happened to Sebas. Hopefully there was no contact there and it was just an error of judgment on driving, and we have no stewards inquiries. But again, come and get yourself involved with all the action that we see out here tonight. We have LMP2 leagues that has run just after this one with the Flying Dutchman currently in P12. Smurfy51, get on the chat and tell the Flying Dutchman to get his flying bloody boot down, because he needs to go. He's P12 at the minute, 2 seconds off his teammate. Fantastic racing at the minute. Tim being very patient. 10 minutes down, 5 minutes gone. Ensafast P1, Delavan P2, Evan P3. Doing a fantastic job though, but it's anyone's game from P6 onwards, which is Olimar, the French driver of the left-handed men. Better exit that time from the Lamborghini. We'll stick with Ollie as they're coming up the little blast here. Gives a chance to really stretch the legs. It's where the AMG is going to be a little strong. Just look like that Lambo's carrying a bit more downforce than the two cars in front. Difficult one though, because they're all getting each other's draft, so it's hard to determine. Hard onto the brakes into turn 10. Difficult one, as Ollie proves why. They're going wide now, and Forston nearly losing the back end there. We just caught a picture of the lime green Broadsport Sim Racing team there. Having a tough one, really. It does look like Forston's overdriving the car to try and make up the positions, and you know, he'll go one way or the other, and usually you end up pushing it just a bit too far. So hopefully Forston can keep it pointing in the right direction. But look at in the background there, MS Schalk and Kurt Sebas having their own little internal fight. I told you, ladies and gentlemen, the fights once you pass P10 are real. The points on offer. Kurt's trying to line up Sebas racing there, and I seem to think that he's got some damage there. It looks like Tim's even closer this time round. 911 on the inside now, trying to take P3. We've got a straight up drag into turn 1 now. 911 versus Lamborghini, and will the Ferrari try and get himself involved there? We've got cars stuck together. Evan and Dicross with a little bit of a disagreement coming up the straight, and Tim nearly fell victim of that one. Tim backed off a little bit. Evans conceded the spot just for now. A little flash of the lights from Puerto Rican driver. It wasn't happening there as Evans gone very wide. Can he pull it back on trackside as Tim's going to try and hang it around the outside? For a second there, I thought two trailer park Ferraris were going to go around the outside, and it looks like Forston's managed to pull up onto the back of only two. Tried to cut back here. He put his foot down. He does. Ollie will cut on him. He did. He didn't see that Forston was up the inside of him. No damage done. The boys still as they are. Little flash of lights from Ollie though, but I'm pretty sure if you'd watched the lap delta, Forston was in front on position. You need to be aware of the overtakes being made and give the room to them. That is how we'll encourage overtaking and proper driving, as it looks like Dicos now spreading his legs. He's managed to pedal in front of the Broadsport Sim Racing driver. Our Irish driver there. He's going to have to go on trackside. It looks like, for all intents and purposes, Tim got very sideways. So the boys just about losing the grip here. We are on. I must stress to everybody involved that we are running performance impacting damage. So if you make a mistake, the mistake is real. You will feel that. That's why I think Sebas is a little far off there. He may have incurred a little bit of damage. His lap times not quite what they were. And Sebas at a 156. There's no one on track with him with that. But then again, there's no one on track that's in free air. Kurt P9, Emma Schelt P10. It's all still to play for with 7 minutes on the clock. Back with the action. Ollie losing pace a tiny bit with the pack there, but he's still on him, still in with a shout. And it looks like Evan's really struggling now. The Lamborghini's tyres temps are through the roof. Forston, little look there. There's a German on German crime into the last corner there. Forston lines Tim up again. Can he get the run? Tim, of course, will have the draft in front of the Lamborghini driver. Of course, Evan and Forston in the same team. The Broadsport Sim Racing team currently P2 in the championships. Of course, Forston having a look at the inside again. Tim did see him and gave him the room. Good driving, but he's still kept the position at the minute. It's good driving from him though. He did see the move happen. It was neither a half attempt by Forston, but Tim was very obliged there and has only snuck his way through there too. Very optimistic by the French driver there coming through. Mr. Forster making a move, and the French driver there nibbled on the bit, and Tim lost another position. What's Evan up to at the minute? Still keeping strong. What a point scoring position this would be. It really knocked things on the head with Sebastian well down in P8 at the minute. This will be a chance for the Broadsport Sim Racing team to gain some points back. Of course, they'd probably down a lot more points if it wasn't for the spin at the start, but that is racing, ladies and gentlemen. Tim on the arse end now, pulls out of the draft. We may have a double overtake here. Forster pulls out the draft too, and Evan, that's his teammate. That's going to happen in front. We'll have to go trackside. Evan very compliant there for the Broadsport Sim Racing team. Forster proving to be the faster of the two drivers. There's not much in it. I mean, a very accomplished driver in his own right. And in the background, Ollie's gone wide. He's gone round. Hopefully he doesn't pick up any damage. Michelle just a little too far away there to really give him a warning, a yellow flag. Of course, there is one driver out on a flag, but he's not with us tonight. He's Yomko, serving a yellow flag for exactly what we've seen out on track with constant cutting. Forston now has made his way through P4, looking slightly healthier and chasing down Dicros, the Puerto Rican driver, the 15-year-old. Now, I would say that this is a done deal, but Dicros has proven time after time again that he can make that 911 as wide as needs to be. He'll make life extremely difficult for Forston, so this is nothing set in stone quite yet. I'm looking a bit further back. Tim still sticking with what is kind of the lead pack. Good to see. What is Ollie up to? He seems to have got going again, and him and M. Shelk are going to try and drag it out at the start finish. It's Lambo versus 488. It's like the Lambo just got the drive out the corner. Is that a done deal? It is indeed. M. Shelk very wise there. Pulls back out. Does give Ollie another little look. Something to think about perhaps. And Sebas, meanwhile, while the boys have been fighting among themselves, had a bit of an issue coming into turn 1. Was up in P2, I believe. Span around along with Mr. Forster Schmidt and have had to recover ever since. Forster, of course, P4 at the minute. Sebas P7, Forster having the rub of the green, if you like, but from the mistake. But currently Forster in a great spot to try and hunt down what is the last podium spot as we will go on board with him. Dicros very wide, he's lost it. Dicros is round, he is round, and he's going to lose a lot of positions there. Dicros has managed to get it going in the right direction though, so Sebas is through as well. He is indeed. Where is Ollie in all this? Go on board, too far off. Back up with the pack. There's something for the books. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. That has recruited Forston Smith into a podium spot. Forston back where he qualified. In a very comfortable position, may I add, because he has the Broadsport Sim Racing driver, his teammate, Evan, behind him, so he has some protection from behind. Tim will have to try and find a way around the Irish driver from Tiffany. It will not be an easy task. Maybe a mistake somewhere in the lab. Emma Schelt now, really hassling Ollie. What looks like they're coming to the last sector, and it is Ollie really struggling to put the power down. It did look like Emma Schelt just had to come out of it a little bit. We'll go on board with Emma Schelt as they're coming into turn 14. Tricky one, double apex. Lots of different lines to be used through this corner. It's really driver preference, which one you prefer, but it's like Tim and Evan, they picked up a penalty. So back on with Tim now. Still trying to find a way around the Irish driver. Of course, Tim, living proof that the tier systems work. He is promoted from tier 2 into the elite tier and has impressed since he got here. It's been fantastic to watch the German driver out on track, mixing it up with the big boys. It's a shame we lost a few cars during the first opening laps, so for the future, we will have a full grid. It looked like Tim did very well to try and save the back end of that. Is that going to allow Sebast to catch up just a little bit? But we'll run through. Not much run time from Sebast at the minute. Coming down the long straight, so what I want to do is just check what sort of speed that Ayrton's doing when he comes down to the bottom. 150s, onto the brakes, what's he doing? Around 158. Oh, we don't want to be doing that. What's the Ferrari doing a Delavan behind? Very similar times. What Forster, we'll check out what the Lamborghini driver is doing. He's renowned Forston for tuning the car up right, so I imagine there's a little bit more top end in that one, but we'll yet to see. We're seeing about 158s from everybody else. The Lamborghini a little slower. Evan about there. Fantastic. Dicros carrying a lot of damage. Is that going to allow Ollie to catch up? Ollie only 2 seconds behind, chasing down that P7 position, and MS Schalke's not letting the left-handed man driver get in away. Back with Tim now. Look at the gap. Forster has managed to pull 2 seconds on these two who are arguing between themselves. Evan doing a fantastic job keeping the German driver behind him. We have a minute to go, ladies and gentlemen. Just pop up that map. Another disconnect, unfortunately, to see, and it does look like, for intensive purposes, and so fast will be the last lap. Coming across the line, we have 1:11 to go, so I think this is going to be the last lap, ladies and gentlemen, with 8 laps, which will make that around a 16-17 lap feature race. Stick with us, this isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. Tim's still trying to hunt down Evan, and he looks like he may have it here. Evan's going to have to give him the room he does. You can see this slight steering adjustment from the Irish driver. And he slides it right back, Evan trying to jump out the way of the draft. Fantastic job, and forced him to pull out another second while these two squabbling, so Evan doing a great job at the minute. Tim pulls out the draft, trying to show Evan a different look into turn 1. MS now, and Ollie, all within second of each other. So Diecross, MS Shell, and Ollie Marr are all fighting over P7. Sebas, meanwhile, trying his best to catch up, but there's been a couple of seconds pulled there, so Sebas, Tim, and Evan all within the realms of each other. Forston holding on to do that last podium spot. Ayrton Sebas has controlled this race from start to finish. I am not going to call it yet, he's just come off the long start finish, but as it stands at the minute, he's been very dominant. Good lap times been set out by himself, not had to worry too much about being caught up in any of the dramas. Good lap by Tim last time around. And we'll jump on board quickly, just have a look what Ollie's up to with Diecross in front. So this is going to be a fight down to the line. I don't expect another lap. So this will be it, ladies and gentlemen. Diecross currently holding strong. Also carrying a lot of damage with the Puerto Rican driver on that 911. He's limping that one home, and it does look like Ayrton Safast is coming up around the last couple of sectors. Hard onto the brakes of the boys coming into sector 2. Fantastic driving. Ayrton Safast, round turn 16 for what I think is the last lap of this sprint race, and he's going to come around and take the gold. I'm sure this is the last lap. If it's not, I apologise, but Ayrton Safast takes gold in the sprint race. Fantastic driving, buddy, well deserved. Dalavan doing what he's done all season and has just stayed there and thereabouts, and he's going to pick up a podium spot. P2 for Dalavan, good points by our Italian driver. Forston with a mistake at the start of the race has managed to recover very, very well. Good driving from both him and his teammate behind, and it looks like we've got a fight here, ladies and gentlemen. The side by side, who's going to take it? 4th and 5th? Evan just about holds on. Fantastic driving by both the Irishman and the driver there. Sebas with a horrible start, but managed to recover to P6. Diecross now did lead the way against Ollie and MS Schalt, so here we go, across the line. Doesn't look like there's going to be any improvement for either one of the driver, but literally across the line. P9, well done, boys. Fantastic driving. Kurt with a very limped Audi. It doesn't look like it's been a pleasure to drive that. Hopefully our British driving can get it sorted, get it back on track for the future. Across the line, P10 holds the last P10 spot. Chris of the Team Thunder from down under the race team have very disappointing sprint race. Hopefully the boys can get it sorted for the future. Both him and his teammate will start from P1 and P2, so they've got the best opportunity to do it. Of course, stick with us on the channel, please, ladies and gentlemen. Uber the Flying Dutchman across the line. That's going to be it for our sprint race, our first round of racing tonight. Stick with us, please, everybody, because we'll be back with the feature race. We'll have a 16-lap race with some weather thrown in, so I'll let the boys get the drinks up and nicotine levels to a degree, and then we will get going. So please stick with us. Remember to hit like and subscribe, and come and join the Discord channel. This has been our sprint race of the night, and Ayrton Stefano, our Argentinian driver, has been an absolute masterclass. Dalavan P2, Forston P3. Fantastic. Well done, boys. Well done, lads. Just get your drinks together and get your nicotine levels up and whatnot, and we'll go from there. I'm just going to quick screenshot of the results. So, well done, boys. I don't know how much you can hear of it, but very impressed. Very good racing.